Wild.
Feels like we just started.
I saw that the Bit Spursy guys just hit their 100th episode. I don't know if you guys caught that, but
Yeah, I saw that too.
Wicked Spursy gave them a little Twitter congrats. And
Good.
Yeah.
Well, we're live, Dave. So
I know. That's why I threw that out there.
just in case Barney and Dan are listening.
Doing it for the masses. Absolutely. All right. We'll go live and hey, this is Wicked Spursy, Mike, Steve, and Dave. Boys.
We're already live.
Good to see you. Yeah, I guess we already were live, but we're alive.
We'll get that timing down.
With joy and vim and vigor at this point in time. Steve, I have spent a lot of time with Mike in recent days, and we had a great time that we'll talk about. But
he's had absolutely enough of me.
I'd like to know how Steve is doing. What's going on, buddy?
I'm doing great. Fantastic. I joined the smartwatch community.
Oh, did you? You young folks and your smartwatches.
It took me many years, but I figured it's better than running around with my phone in my hand after a bunch of third and fourth graders. Might as well get a watch. And if I'm going to get a watch, I might as well get one that can, keep me focused, something that can actively help me instead of relying on me to do anything. Because if I have to look at my own wrist to keep time, it's a loss. I just don't have the attention span for that. I'm a millennial, but it's been great until I started work this week. And then I realized that it yells at me if I don't move enough. So it actually will buzz on my wrist and tell me, get up, get moving. It's like, but this is creating a hostile work environment. I need to go to HR.
It's not an Apple device though, is it?
No, it's not. It's a Samsung.
Oh.
You're like the Jetsons come to life, Steve. That's really what it is, right?
It's crazy. On the northern Vermont rec front, I know everybody's eagerly waiting, but no, the Vermonsters remain undefeated after another game day. So we have played 6 and we have not lost at all. We did draw for the first time ever. And I almost wanted the team to lose just so I could convince them finally that defending is actually an important part of the game. But after yesterday's practice where I sort of drilled defending into them nonstop for an hour, I think they get it now. And if they don't, we've got practice again tomorrow and I'm going to keep drilling defending until they figure it out. But it's been fun, and it's been nice to pass along some of that, adult wisdom, like, you get what you put into it. Things like that, where they can apply it to other facets of their young lives and, I don't know, maybe grow.
Steve, have you had to throw out a because I said so yet? Like, Coach, why we got to do this? Because I said so.
I never throw out the because I said so. I always
how do you avoid
give
that?
A reason.
Always.
Well, because, there's a whole, psychological aspect of it. But when I was a kid growing up, I always heard because I said so.
Mm-hmm.
And it always gave me the impression that my parents were these like infallible creatures who, you just do what they do and that's it. And
are they not?
Being an adult and being a parent myself now, I've realized that no, parents are not infallible. In fact, there are many mistakes that we all make. So I feel like I build more trust with my team just by being open and honest. Why are we doing this? Well, we're doing this because it's for the good of the team. We need everybody to take turns defending at some point. And I don't like hearing the excuse, oh, I don't like it. I don't want to defend. It doesn't fly with me. I did get a laugh out of a parent who was watching practice when I flat out told one of the kids, like, I don't care if you don't like defending. You have to take turns doing it or it's not fair to everybody else. So I did appreciate that. I don't think she intended to laugh at a 4th grade or 3rd grade individual, but I could totally relate to that. So it's been fun. We've got 3 more game days left in the season.
Okay.
So another 6 games to play. We're halfway through. And if my math serves me, if we make it through Saturday undefeated, we will officially be ranked 1 for the entire season. There's no way anybody could catch us after that.
So basically, Steve, it's like late January, and you are top of the table. Is kind of what I'm hearing, and you can lock
Running
it up
away
by
with it. Yeah.
lock it up by the end of February. Essentially,
That's the plan. Then I can start rotating, getting the random kids that show up to watch their siblings. Yeah, you want a shot? Why don't you get in? Get you a run out.
Please tell me you get to wrap it up against the red team.
There is no red team.
Yeah. No, there is no red team.
That's good.
There is no red team.
Only white.
That's good. That maybe there's a
Lily
that
white.
might be an episode title name, but we'll see. Mike, my friend, how are you?
Dave, this is a great segue because Steve went from his rec league, and where for some reason they're keeping score and they're keeping record, to my son's youth academy team that I pay a lot of money for. And for some reason, they're not keeping any records of any scores or anything, which is funny because in the spring, goddamn, you better goddamn have that score in so the Vermont Soccer League can record that. But in the fall, apparently, it doesn't matter, and they're undefeated. And they had, while Dave and I'll let Dave tell the story of our weekend, but while Dave and I were gone to Boston, Lucas had a the Bailey Memorial Tournament in Stowe, where they went 2 wins and a draw in their 3 games, and Lucas scored the brace in the final.
Fantastic.
Yeah, and then he just I've been alerted to the fact that he's now doing the Sunny celebration, which is and so I had to take a picture yesterday during his school game when he did it, and I turned it into a little bit of a GIF. I know they call it a GIF, but I say GIF.
Nobody calls it GIF.
Yeah.
Anybody who calls it GIF is wrong.
Yeah, because they're talking about peanut butter.
Exactly.
Anywho, yeah, and then today, so Dave and I had a great weekend. My son had a very successful weekend, and a great game yesterday. And my daughter today, we're recording late today because the fellows were gracious enough to give me the later time to go watch my daughter play volleyball today. And in the second game of the set, she scored on the winning serve with an ace.
Very nice.
Not too bad. I mean, proud papa, dude. Other than that, Dave and I had a great goddamn time. Why don't you tell them about it, Dave?
Jeez, man, that's a tall order. Did have a great time. So Mike and I were able to initiate and complete the first ever Wicked Spursy baseball weekend. It was outstanding with one major exception, which was the rain. It rained the whole damn time. And I don't think the temperature ever got above like 60 in the process. So just generally unpleasant weather, but we were able to make the best of it. So yeah, we connected noonish on Saturday, quickly departed to a pub and watched what did we see there? That was Everton and Brentford, wasn't it? We saw
Everton and Brentford.
Yeah. Saw that match. Mike got to chat up a guy actually who was from North London, worked in the Tottenham area. It was a Cambridge United supporter, if I recall correctly. Might be a new Wicked Spursy listener coming on board. And
wonderful guy to talk to.
Got to chat a guy up.
He was there with his partner, and yeah.
We had some good food. We went to the ball game. We got cold. We drank. We ate. We went out and ate more afterwards. And then, like a couple old men, we crashed shortly thereafter. And then the next day was a double dose. We got to Mike. I'll let you talk about the morning, but we got to spend the morning at Longcross Pub, which is just outside Boston, where the Boston Spurs meet. And after that was done, we got back to another ball game in the rain. More food, more drink, and just time well spent. The camaraderie was ripe and enjoyable. Mike, talk about the Boston Spurs meetup a little bit, if you would.
Yeah, the Boston Spurs meetup was fantastic. Again, it was my second time down there this season. I went for the Brentford match with my son, and unfortunately, at the time, they didn't have any gear there. But I was promised that they would have gear. I really wanted the hat, but They did not have the hat this time. Again, they had sold out. They had a lot more people. Obviously, it was the Derby, and they had a lot more people in there this time. Dave and I got to enjoy some amazing food that they had there, the buffet. My one complaint, and I'm gonna register this for anybody who's listening from Boston Spurs. No maple syrup for the Belgian waffles. No
True.
maple syrup.
So true.
But
Ow.
they were like delicious, crunchy sugar cakes. They were delicious. They were really good. All the
but
food there was great. The hash was really good.
Biscuits were solid.
Biscuits were good. Yep.
But how do you have waffles and no maple syrup?
I
Yeah,
know
there
it
was
was a
none.
little weird.
There
There
was
was no
none.
ketchup either. But
Well,
we
you're gonna
don't
put
put ketchup
ketchup
in
on
eggs. That's not what I'm
waffles?
saying. But anyway, Boston Spurs.
Did
What
Dave
a
get his
what a
toast?
great group.
No toast.
No
No toast. Biscuit and gravy, though. I was happy with that. By the way, my quick detour, barbecue place the night before. I forget the name of it. You may have to hit us with that, but phenomenal biscuits at that place. That was
Sweet
that was,
Cheeks. Yeah,
Sweet
we'll
Cheeks.
we'll
Sweet Cheeks
we'll, we'll
barbecue.
plug that too.
Is that a
But the
bedroom
guys at
name,
Boston
or-
Spurs are all great guys. We met a couple of new folks who were sitting right next to us. We chatted with them for a bit, and we got to have some drinks and some good food, some nice talk about camaraderie. The all the folks there. We got to watch little baby make the rounds like 4 or 5 times all the way around the bar, which is great. And we got to watch a wonderful game.
We sure did.
Here's the thing. I talked to one of the officers of the Boston Spurs. And we've discussed doing a live pod from Long Cross Pub later in the season.
It would be good.
And we'll figure out logistics later on, but hopefully maybe in the spring when the stakes are a little bit higher, and we can get a good crowd in there, and we can get some crowd questions, maybe some participation, that kind of thing. I think it would be great.
Good stuff. Mike, did you have any takeaways from the weekend? Any observations that you noticed after 2 days spent with this clown?
Dave, your wife continues to be a lovely human being. She fed us after
Very
a long
true.
car ride, a long rainy car ride. But my real observation is that no matter the circumstances, the weather, whatever the bullshit could be, Steve's laughing at something.
I just have this mental image of you both drunk out of your minds, and Beth just sitting there with a little spoon, like, here comes the airplane.
We're both in high chairs.
Thank you.
No, we were actually sober people on the way home.
Indeed.
But no, the real takeaway is that no matter what the situation, whether it's rainy, whether Mike wakes up at 2 a.m. and his eyes are crusted over from his allergies, and hungover as all get out, no matter anything bad that could have happened, the camaraderie and a good friend hanging out with you for the weekend is what makes it all worth it. So I had a great fucking time. Time.
Yeah, good stuff, man. And those are nice words. I was gonna say observations on my end. First, it reinforced for me, whatever the sporting event, to be able to go to a sporting event and just spend time sitting and talking with someone, enjoy your food, enjoy your drink, and have a conversation. Baseball is actually great for that. Probably the best sport there is for the art of the conversation, but that's fun. That's enjoyable. I also learned, Steve, little known fact, Mike loves Boston. He loves Boston sports, but he hates driving in the city. Mike is not a fan. And Mike also is not happy when Notre Dame plays poorly or loses. Both of those things were factors.
We had a hotel room. We had a hotel. We had a suite, right? And so I'm in a separate bedroom, and I was trying to let Dave get some rest and some sleep because we had absolutely drank too much and absolutely eaten too much, and so Dave went right up to the room. I went to the hotel bar, and I got myself a Beefeater and tonic and and a Miller Lite. so I could watch the second half of the Notre Dame game. And I said, I'm going to be really nice, and I'm just going to go into the bedroom. And then I proceeded to scream at the TV. So now Dave got a taste of what my poor wife and kids go through.
Yeah, it was
whenever
real.
I watch a sporting event.
It was real, but it was blast, Mike. Enjoyed it, and
it didn't ruin my entire week. It just ruined it ruined 4 days because there was a good football game we got to watch the next morning.
Very true. Let's talk about that now, Steve. There was a minor football match on Sunday morning. What did you watch on Sunday morning? What did you see?
That's a great question, and I've thought long and hard about it, because what I saw seems to be completely different from what most of these schmuck pundits thought was going to happen going into the day. I was reading all these articles. Ange is about to be found out. Arsenal's going to obliterate Spurs. Their strategy, their tactics are going to feed right into Arteta's hands, and he's going to punish them. And none of that happened.
Didn't happen.
In fact, I would make an argument that Arsenal were lucky to come away with a point at all.
Solid argument can be made.
Yeah, I mean, look, their first goal, right? The deflection, freak accident, it happens, right? Fucking Saka is running off celebrating like he just scored a World Cup winner. But our first goal, pure class turn from Madison, feeding Son with an incredible finish under pressure. I mean, if you're talking about just the skill involved alone in making that happen, our opener was better. Second goals, a penalty that is awarded when another ref might have not given it, which, I mean, look, all things aside, it's frustrating that we can have the exact same situation happen in several games this season. Sometimes it's a penalty and other times it isn't. It all just depends on who's reffing that day. And that just pisses me off, right? Like, there needs to be some consistency. The reffing association, they really need to get a handle on that. Like, Romero had an exact same type of handball against United that didn't get called just 3 games ago. It just boggles my mind. But anyway, so I'm going to call it a lucky penalty because it frankly comes down to the ref decision and, not any clear rule of law that indicates what should have happened. So they get that second. Saka goes and he celebrates again like he's just won the World Cup a second time. Only for Jorginho to be completely fucking embarrassed, and some of the most beautiful 1-2 passing between Madison and Son and the back of the net that I have seen, which is just that was just delicious to watch. That entire sequence played in slow motion is just everything I would have wanted. But outside of that, I mean, it was nervy to start. Very uncomfortable. I don't think the yellow to Destiny really helped at all. But I'm going to sound like a broken record at this point because I've probably said it 1,000 times so far this season, and there's no end to me saying it in sight. But this team's mentality is just on a whole other level from what we've seen in the last few seasons. I mean, there was no capitulating. There was no, hanging our heads. That unlucky deflection. What did we see? Vicario going out there and, patting him on the back and getting everybody amped up. There were no blame game. There was no fingers being pointed. Nobody was allowed to wallow in their misery. The entire team, every single player out there and on the bench was rallying the guys together, getting them back in the spirit. And they did not stay down. They did not roll over. They did not let Arsenal do their thing in their own home. We fought back. We got the point. We probably could have had 3. Again, Arsenal were lucky to escape with the point. Spurs were a dominant force that game, more so than honestly I expected. Going into that game, my expectations were, yeah, it was going to be challenging. It was going to be difficult, but I would be happy with a point. By the end of that game, I almost feel like a point is we left 2 on the plate. Like we could have had the 3, and it's almost disappointing. It's funny how watching a game for 90 minutes can change your expectations. But if there's any takeaway that I would have from that Derby game, it's just not to discount Ange. I mean, we'll talk more about the comings up later on, but I'm looking ahead to Liverpool right now after the Derby, and I'm thinking, well, why not? Why can't we beat them? They seem like they're in a vulnerable spot. Yeah, they just beat West Ham, but fuck it, we've got Ange. Ange is working miracles, and it's not just him; it's the players too. Your son, your Romero, your Madison, Basuma out there, Destiny, fucking Pedro Porro, who went from being incapable of defending to somehow really fucking good. I don't know.
If not for Madison, if not for Madison, he's man of the match.
Yeah, it's just it's incredible the transformation that the whole team has gone under in such a short amount of time. And look, if I'm Arsenal, if I'm watching that game back, I'm thinking, shit, like we've really lucked out there. Like that could have been so much worse. But fucking phenomenal for the team. Gutted we couldn't get the 3 points, but if you had told me a week ago we're going to get a point at the Emirates, I would have been happy with it. So I guess I have to be happy with it now. And the statistic that made me laugh the most is Ange has more points at the Emirates than our last 3 managers combined.
Right. Beautiful. Well, not beautiful, sad actually, but
it is sad. Good. But to me, it's a precursor of things to come, right? If we're 5-6 games into Ange's tenure and we're getting a draw at the Emirates, who's to say we're not completely obliterating them when our system actually clicks and we've had a couple more transfer windows and we've really solidified the team?
Yeah, for sure. Mike, I know I want to give you a chance to talk tactics and match. I also have a philosophical question. Philosophical question. Would you prefer to talk about your match observations and then I ask my question, or you want my question first, followed by your match observations?
Your question will be fine. I as long as it's not that question.
No, it's not that question. It's too early for that question. We still got a little bit of time for that. Here's my like deep thoughts question. You and I kind of touched on this a little bit, as over the weekend is like you had some gooners like coming at you online and we were talking about how to respond type of thing, those types of deals. So I want to talk about your typical Arsenal fan and their online presence and their ignorance, but I don't want to dwell on the ignorance and like the why are they ignorant and why are they wrong, because we already know that both those things are true. I'm wondering, like, do you have any insight as to why they see the world through such a different set of eyes than we see the world? Like what everything Steve just described in terms of what that match was spot on and was accurate, and yet there is still a fan base that sees a completely different set of circumstances when they look at that. Why are people like that? Why is there that discrepancy? Do you have an idea or an opinion?
So Arsenal fans.
Sorry, I thought that was a joke.
Arsenal fans are a joke. So the ones that I know, the ones that I've met, the few that I've talked to, the ones that have interacted with me online, they all seem to have this issue with us more than we have with them. And I think I've probably mentioned this before. I don't understand why we're so in their fucking heads when, like, historically our fan base should be way more pissed off.
We should have the inferiority complex, right? We should.
Right. And we're like, okay, cool. But this is the situation. And that that shit kind of comes into play when you're, I'm not going to call out Will or Dan or any of the other fucking idiots who I talk to online.
Like Will or Dan.
Like Will or Dan, but a couple of fucking... God Dude, you know what? They would have loved to fucking to somehow pull out this match, and they'd be home, they'd be home fingering themselves right now.
Yeah, it'd be a wank fest, no question.
Yeah, they would be. Yeah. It'll be fucking more like a wanker fest. But the great thing about this match was that we're not allowed to celebrate the draw, right? Not allowed to celebrate the draw,
right? Or be satisfied even with
or
the draw,
be
right?
even be satisfied.
Yeah.
But the great thing that about this match for me this week was that all these fucking, especially Paul Merson, all the people with it, they always do these combined 11 bullshit. Like none of the Spurs players could get into the combined 11. None of them. Here's the thing. They all put Gabriel Jesus, and this is where I'm going with this. They all put Gabriel Jesus in there ahead of Son. Son, who has scored countless goals. He's one of the top 20, 30, 40 strikers. I'll say top 30 strikers in the history of the league, right? He is a fucking goal scorer. I'm not talking strikers number 9. I'm talking strikers, straight up pure goal scorers in the history of this league, right? And if you measure him up against the Arsenal strikers or the Arsenal goal scorers, Henry, Bergkamp, sure, those guys, obviously they're on a higher level, right? And it's just because of the pure numbers, right? But then they're not putting them, and they're not putting Son ahead of Gabriel Jesus. Gabriel Jesus, who's not even the fucking, he's not even ahead of our backup to Son in his national team.
That's true.
So, Richie being what he is, however he's playing this year, is the number 9 for Brazil over Gabriel Jesus, who's apparently better than Son. I think now if they go back and if all these bullshit pundits go back and look at it, I think the thing about the Gooner fans is that they can't look past their own players for anything. They're gonna put somebody like Odegaard ahead of Kevin De Bruyne. They're gonna put
Ben White, best defender in England, right?
Yeah, they're going to put Ben White over their own Saliba, right? Like who I think is a better defender than Ben White. They're gonna put, who do they would put Ben White up against like prime Van Dijk, right? I mean, it's bullshit. It's just they can't get out of their own heads, and it's because they follow their fucking dear leaders, these bullshit artists who pump these fan bases up and give them something more than they think they are, or make them think they are more than they are. And it's all, so I guess the long answer was that whatever diatribe I just went on. The short answer is their managers are weird people, and so are the fans, because they follow them. Arteta's a weird, strange little man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean the bullshit that he pulls where he's running down the touchline.
Yeah.
Did you see that little clip that I sent where he's running down the touchline and like Decky's like looks up and says, "Holy shit, there's another defender." No, it's not another defender. It's a guy in a fucking shirt. It's a guy in a fucking shirt and pant, a black shirt and pants.
I loved how Boston Spurs, every time Arteta came on the television screen, the crowd just screamed, "Wanker, wanker, wanker." Just, that was what they screamed until he was off the screen. It was good. And then they screamed, "Daddy," when Ange came on.
Daddy.
Exactly. Mike, thank you for that. Good analysis.
So
they live in an echo chamber. They can't get past themselves.
Oh, yeah. Maybe I could have just said that and
we're
wasted our people's times.
We're a big bad boogeyman, and they actually should feel it. Those roles should be reversed, but they're so paranoid. That's what it is. Done.
So my observations on the game. We know that Son's not ever coming out of that center center forward spot ever again. He's not. He's just not. He's not losing that spot. That's his space now in this system.
But what if we re-sign Harry Kane?
Yeah, already.
Who?
Yeah, who? What?
Florida man, Munich man,
Munich man,
Lederhosen man,
he was wearing Lederhosen, right? He was a
Skechers man. He's a Skechers guy.
Skechers man.
Sketchy.
Skechers
So-
go with Lederhosen.
I wrote some notes down. I did my rewatch. I wrote some notes down. So I wrote down Postecoglou's possession-based philosophy was on full display. Spurs never slowed down or reverted to like the bullshit Conte and Mourinho stuff, the defensive play that they've been just to, you know, to just get away with that one point. But like we know that Son was fantastic. We know that Madison was fantastic. We know that even though Spurs for about the first 25 to 30 minutes of the game were kind of getting dominated. It just takes this team. It just takes this team a little while to play into the game and figure out their space. And once they do, I'm sure Madison made one fucking huge boner, but good thing it was the best striker and out of the two teams who fucking shipped it over the top of the fucking net. Dude, Steve, one of your fourth graders could have scored that goal.
Yeah, probably.
So I wrote down that there were a few stand-up performances. And here are the players. Venom. I'm calling him Venom now.
Venom, Mickey.
Venom. Vicky. The big V.
Hey, Mickey, you're so fine. You're so fine. You blow my mind.
So we can say Mickey or Vicky on that one right
Hey,
now.
Mickey.
So
Hey,
Van de
Mickey.
Ven Ven's my next one. Udogi and Pedro Porro, who I said earlier, if not for Madison, I think was my man of the match. So early on, we got pressed really hard. And there was no way that this Arsenal team was going to be able to keep that up the entire game, especially once we figured out especially guys like Basuma and Van de Ven and Udogi, when they could figure out the spaces that they had to play in, or that they have available to them. Udogi got that early foul, you know, which was a yellow card. And sure, it was a fucking yellow card. It was a pretty hard challenge, man. We all said it, right? We all agreed it was a yellow card. But he settled right down into it, and he made probably the best right winger in the world right now. He kind of shut him down, man. Kind of shut him down. He shut down Saka, and I like Saka.
Saka.
I liked
Saka plays Saka.
I liked Saka less after Sunday's display.
Oh, because of his little bullshit.
His little antics. Cut that bullshit
but
out.
it's
And
funny
when Madison smoked him, that was lovely.
Madison's post-game comment was just fucking gold.
I think when he turned him on that play,
turned him. It was ugly. It was ugly.
So Vicario, okay, not one of those goals was his fault.
Freak deflection and a penalty. Yeah,
Dude, that early save against Jesus, like that impossible fucking angle. I don't know how because that ball would have gone in easily. If it was Hugo, that ball's going in. He made one kind of errant pass, but for the most part, super confident with the ball at his feet. He took a fucking disgusting challenge, way worse than Emerson's challenge last year. He took that, was smart enough to kind of jump forward when that challenge came in. Otherwise, that fucking leg is getting broken by that piece of shit in Kedia. That guy, I don't know. He's now my Granit Xhaka. So Kedia can fuck off. Van de Ven, dude, that guy's recovery pace. So when Brennan Johnson was in there, he hasn't kind of formed that partnership up the line with Udogi yet, right? And probably led to what ended up being Romero's deflection. So Van de Ven, most of the game, was the reason that Udogi was able to shut down Saka.
Sure.
Because of the fact that his recovery pace, he was able to help out, and he was able to kind of switch positions when Udogie was too far out, too far pushed up the pitch. He is going to end up that side is going. Remember how badly we needed that side to perform for us past few years. That side now in the next season or two is going to be a 200-300 million dollar left side in the back. Those guys are going to be worth that much money. I mean, they're going to be world beaters. And then Destiny, of course, dude, to be able to settle down. He was just a little too over aggressive, and to be able to settle down the way he did in the game, and play off that yellow and be effective playing. And this kid's 20 fucking years old. What 20-year-old has composure like that to get an early yellow in a huge game, probably the biggest game they've ever played in a visitor in the home team stadium. Unreal. And then Pedro Porro, his defense and his recovery pace and his ability to not just get back and defend. And I think I said this last season, was that he's young. He's young, and he's smart enough and a good enough player to be able to teach how to defend. He's been taught how to defend despite some of his shortcomings. Like, I know we're saying inverted fullback and all this shit, but he is going to end up being a really good defender in a couple of years. Like, and then, the guy I didn't mention too, that I think that he's going to continuously and constantly get overlooked, is number 21. Dejan Kulusevski, not Dan, Dejan.
Dan Kulusevski.
Dan I've been working down at the factory with Dan Kulusevski for 30 years. That Dan Kulusevski, he's a real son of a bitch. That guy put in some fucking work, man. He put in some work. And the guy just never stops moving. Again, I'm going to call him the shark, man, because he just doesn't stop moving. He tracks back. He tries to play defense best he can. He moves the ball through the middle. He's recognized that defenders have figured out that he's going to put the ball onto his left foot, and he doesn't just put the ball into his left foot and huck it in. He doesn't just put the ball on his left foot and try and go with it. He puts the ball into his left foot, gets them to make a move, and then takes off again, and then puts passes in. And he's going to be probably an overlooked and invaluable player on this team going forward. The only guy that I think really had a hard time out there, he's even played into the game, was our I don't even know what position he's playing now, but Papi Sarr.
Sarr.
Is he an 8? Is that what is he an 8? Is that his position, or a 6? I don't know.
Thereabouts.
Somewhere in there. It's amazing that he did not have the best game, but he wasn't terrible. He had some giveaways. He had some passes. I think there was a point at the very end where he got the ball where he should have immediately passed it to Decky, because we had a streaking Sonny coming into the box, and he just didn't get him to pass early enough. He took like 3 touches and then finally passed it, and it got played out for a corner kick. But that position is going to be shored up when Silky Puddin comes back into the frame.
He is coming back.
So that's my breakdown. And
nice. You forgot one thing.
What's that? Sonny.
No. Steve knows what it is. And it's not the question. I think, Steve, I'm going to delay the question a little bit based on how the pod's been flowing, and come to you for Liverpool first, and then we'll go to that magic question.
Liverpool already.
But Mike, you know what you forgot? You forgot
that
to
like?
talk about Manor Solomon, how he's so dribbly and how he doesn't pick his head up and just looks at the ground. You forgot
He did it again.
You forgot your weekly Manor Solomon diss fest. So go ahead. Here's your platform.
Shit all over him.
Yeah.
Hasn't done anything to you.
I'm gonna Dave knows that I sat there at the pub and I said it like 4 or 5 times. He keeps doing it.
He's way too dribbly. He's way too dribbly.
He kept on dribbling into pressure. Like we didn't have another option. We didn't have another option once Brennan went down. Brennan Johnson is another guy who has not been talked about, and his aggressiveness inside of the box, even though he's a little dude, his speed and his aggressiveness inside the box was giving Arsenal fits. And like I said, Arsenal did control the game for probably the first 20 minutes. I'd say probably about 25 to 28 minutes of the game. They controlled the game. The rest of the game went right to Spurs. We 57% possession. Are you fucking kidding me? And these Gooners are saying that they were dominant. Mikel Arteta was saying that they were the dominant team out there. Give me a fucking break. I'm not going to shit on Manor Solomon. He did dribble into pressure like 4 or 5 times because he's always looking to shoot from out there, and he's not looking to distribute or pass. He passes when he sees an open pass that's he needs to make, sure, which is what Lucas Moura never did. But Manor Solomon, I think Brennan Johnson's the guy going forward, as long as he's not irreparably damaged.
Well, I don't think anyone's going to argue that Manor Solomon's a better choice than Brennan Johnson. I think that's pretty much a given. But yeah, he's a backup that we need to be serviceable when he comes in, right? He
can run at dudes. He's good at those one-on-ones, but he's always looking to shoot first instead of he's looking to dribble first out of pressure and shoot first. And that's not the type of player we need, especially if we're having a game where we need to break down, a team in the box. And don't say like Bournemouth, because I'll slap you.
Nah, I would never say that. Never say that.
Like Bournemouth.
You too, Steve.
Steve, just because I've had Mike on the platform for a while, I was thinking like,
He's on his soapbox.
Yeah, let's talk a little Liverpool. Give Mike a chance to recover.
I want to talk about Liverpool.
Catch his breath. Finish his drink. Finish his drink so that we can get to a little bit of a really important question. So you want to talk Liverpool a little bit? What are you thinking about looking ahead?
I'm going to start with something that's actually surprised me a little bit. Did you know that so far this season, Liverpool have scored 3 goals in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 separate games so far?
3 goals total.
No, 3 goals
in each of 5
game.
Games. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
Good
now,
output.
what's interesting about
how many of those
for
were in the
me,
second half?
They haven't looked good. Liverpool have not really looked good, and they're still eking out these goals, which should tell you that they are fucking dangerous. They are a dangerous team, and you need to watch out. Now, there's 2 things for me that kind of work in our favor. First, they're playing tomorrow, so they'll have a short week compared to us to prepare. Second, their depth right now isn't looking so hot. So eventually fatigue is going to catch up. And with the rate, some of these games are extending out 10, 12, 15 extra fucking minutes per half. It's going to catch up to players. Unfortunately, that means injuries are probably going to be coming. You're going to see muscle fatigue really catch up to people, which is going to hurt these teams that are playing multiple games a week. In that sense, we're kind of lucky we don't have that. But I also don't want Spurs to be complacent in the fact that they have extra rest and, they're going up against a depleted Liverpool team, because at the end of the day, depleted or not, whether they're playing well or not, they are still scoring multiple goals every single game and getting results, wins mostly. The only draw they had so far is against Chelsea, 1-1, and that's it. They have won every single game that they have played
juggernaut
so far.
Chelsea. Yeah.
But again, I said it before, I'll reiterate. I think Spurs can get something. I think Spurs can challenge them. The thing that I really appreciate seeing is that even when it's not going well, we saw it at the start of the Arsenal game, right? The Ange possession passing type work wasn't working. Did he fall back to something else? Did we try to park the bus, be a little bit more defensive? No, we fucking played through it and it worked out for us. I see no changes really to how we're going to approach this game against Liverpool. We're the home team. We'll have the stadium noise, stadium support, kind of helping to push the team forward. And honestly, if Spurs continue to play the way that they have been playing, I can't see that stadium staying quiet for very long, right? If Liverpool managed to get an early goal, I think the stadium will rally around them. And the squad, they're going to rally around themselves. We're going to see, in my opinion, a very entertaining match. If we get a draw, I'd be happy. But honestly, I think 3 points are there for the taking. I think Liverpool have really rode their luck so far this season. And as long as we can defend well and continue to impose ourselves on a game like this with the stakes that high, I think we can. I think they're beatable. I think we can win. I would be disappointed with a loss. I wouldn't mind a draw, but I think a win is there for us. I really do believe that we can bring it to them and issue their first loss of the season.
I like the sound of that. Mike, agree, disagree?
Liverpool is going to be a tough task. They come at you and come at you and come at you and come at you. The thing is that, as much as Spurs have not been tested yet, that was sarcasm. As much as Spurs have not been tested yet, Liverpool has one glaring weakness, and I think Klopp and his team have done a fantastic job. I still think that despite being a whiny little pussy, Klopp is a fucking phenomenal coach and he's a great team builder. I think that he has done a fantastic job building and rebuilding that team. The place they're lacking is in the midfield, and I don't know if they have the midfield to be able to cope with the Spurs midfield. And we've seen in years past how a dominant midfield will be able to control a game. You have a guy like Basuma out there who 90% of the time is playing with his back, to 2-3 other midfielders, right? And somehow receives a ball and is able to turn his defender and get the ball forward. You have a Pap Sarr who can run at people with speed, and every once in a while pass with accuracy. You have James Maddison, who right now, for my money, is a top 2-3 midfielder in the world.
Ooh, hot take, Mike. Hot take.
I don't think it's a fucking hot take, Dave.
I know, that's why I'm saying that.
The dude won Premier League Player of the Month in August, and he's
still performed.
And he's on his way to winning it for September too.
I feel like it's glaringly obvious. It's not even a hot take, right? Like,
Jesus Christ.
He is that.
This guy, I want to be his friend so badly. I just think that we have a better midfield, and in years past, like especially when Chelsea's Champions League year and the year after, like Chelsea had great midfields, right? And that's how they dominated teams. They dominated Spurs, terribly dominated us for 2 straight seasons, 5 games, 2 straight seasons, terribly dominated us. So I think that's where Spurs can win the game. thing is that that this Liverpool team is a team that will beat you down and beat you down and beat you down. They'll take their shots, but they're a second half team. They've been a second half team all season. They have not looked great, which tells me one thing: no mercy. Strike hard.
First, strike
I like
hard,
that.
no
Strike
mercy.
first, strike fast, no mercy.
That's Steve's rec league motto too, actually.
Yeah.
First,
That's,
strike hard, no
that's
mercy.
why
Yep.
that's why I brought up the Cobra Kai shit.
Look,
Bingo.
it's gonna
In our
be
chat
an
today.
endurance contest.
Seriously,
plain
you
and simple.
have to get that goal first. You
And
have
we
to
can
strike-
win. We can win an endurance contest. That's what's exciting about this year. Is there's hope.
Postacoglu says we're the fittest team in the league. I mean,
He does.
we're kind of waning in the late minutes of that Arsenal game, which is fine. Decky's played 230 minutes in the past 2 fucking games. You know, it's tough. Pedro Porro too. You know, he's not been subbed out. So, oh, Dave is muted. Dave with the Cardinals.
Oh, wow,
Techno
look at that.
Dave.
Look at that. I'm back, bastards. You know what it's time for?
Wheel of Fortune.
Yeah, it's time to drink a beer. Steve,
No,
ask the
that's
question.
already happened, Steve.
Ask the question. Let's get this on.
Hey, Mike, what you drinking?
Well, Steve, I'm glad you finally asked that question.
I'm
Tonight-
contractually obligated to ask you that question.
Well, the HR department will be having some words with Dave about delaying the question.
HR department can suck it.
Delay of question. There's a flag on the play.
Yeah.
Great
He
fucking
says they
flag.
can suck it, but like he'll be on probation for a season.
You'll have to
Deuces.
watch the Bears and only the Bears.
Won't have much to talk about.
I'll just be crying into my New York Giants glass.
So this is what we're gonna do today. I'm going back to the well. This Threes Brewing. These beers are blowing my mind.
Three's Company.
Come and knock on my door.
We've been waiting for you.
So this is for all you fucking gooners out there. Threes Brewing. And it's also for our German friends who are celebrating Oktoberfest. We're gonna do a Helles Lager from Threes Brewing. It's pretty cool looking.
What might have been?
It's the Gooners, you know, what might have been.
Mm-hmm.
Had Gabriel Jesus not blowing that absolute fucking sitter.
What might have been if Nketiah was sent off for his
You know what
rash
happened? You know what
challenge that
happened?
He should have been.
You know what happened? The center back the other day fired one right into the middle of the field, and Lucas Popovich picked it right up. And as the keeper came out to meet him, you know what Lucas Popovich did? Kept it smart, kept his head, and kept the ball on the fucking ground, and fired it right past the keeper.
Nice.
Instead of trying to make a fucking statement with a rocket shot, fired it right past the keeper.
You know what one of my kiddos
You know
did?
what Lucas Popovich knows how to do? Finish better than Gabriel Jesus or Kai Havertz for that matter, who also missed a fucking sitter.
I had to blow my whistle against a kid who deliberately handled the ball from going in the net because they thought that it had already gone out of play.
That's funny.
And I had to explain to them, you play to the whistle and not stop things before.
That's very funny.
The confusing thing was I wasn't allowed to give the penalty because apparently they don't do that at this level. I had to give an indirect free kick like 2 feet away from the goal, and they botched it. So I guess we got away with one, but like, man,
Arsenal.
these youth league teams rules are just funky.
You know, Steve, Mike's being really weird with displaying this can. I just want to tell you, as Mike just poured this and before he gets into the assessment, Mike and I were at Trillium Brewery over the weekend, and Mike went over. It was his turn to grab beers, and I hear him yell at me. He's like, "Hey, Dave, for only $27, do you want a souvenir mug that you can take home? And I said, no, I don't. And so he said, okay, cool.
Amy thanks you, Dave.
Good. In the back of my mind, I'm like, this bastard, he's gonna bring it over anyway, and then I'm gonna be hauling this mug around all night. But what he did bring was like it felt like a full liter of Marzen in a plastic cup is what it really felt like. And
a liter of cola.
I'll tell you what, that beer was the end of both of us. Mike drank more than I could. I could barely make a dent in this thing. But
you know what happened too? It's really funny. Is like there was this. I love the people watching. There's this couple next to us that I thought was like a father and daughter, but could have been like a sugar daddy and type of situation. Either way, I turned my head and I look at them for a second. I turned back and Dave's like pouring half of his beer into mine.
Yeah, I did. He looked away. I'm like, I'm getting rid of half of this shit, man. I cannot drink this.
And he's like,
no offense, Trillium. Your beer was good, but not that one. I just couldn't do it. It was rough.
It was heavy. It was heavy as fuck.
Mean,
yeah.
You got a liter of Marzen.
A liter of Marzen.
I didn't even know they.
Dude, it was a liter of beer. Dude, it was huge.
It was a big daddy. It was. But hey, back to
you know what
back
liter,
to this.
What liter means? It's French for give me some fucking cola.
Nice.
So what might have been
that's Super Troopers for all you out there.
Had Gabriel Jesus put that away, it would have been a 2-0 lead. What might have been? Might have cost you that sitter might have cost you fucking 2 points. You fucking gooners. So look at this beer. Look at how great it is. It's see-through. It's a perfect smelling.
Yeah, on last week's theme, if you put your wang in that, you would be able to see it. I think that's a good that's the scale that I'm using.
Yeah, I know, but like
Mike Wang scale.
Is this the Wang scale? Is the Wang being magnified by the glass? I don't know. I don't know how refraction works.
That mug, yeah, you might get some interesting magnification, or constriction. I'm not sure which one it would be.
Like it just blow it up like the size of a tuna can. Anywho, let's get back to this. This is a perfect representation of what Helles Lager looks like. It is clear, it is crisp looking, it smells sweet, super ultra sweet. It doesn't smell bitter at all. We're gonna get into this, and I love Helles Lager. It's one of my favorite German styles outside of the Kolsch. But let's get after this.
Drink it, drink it, drink it.
One of these days I'll pound a beer. We beat Arsenal at home. I will pound a fucking beer.
Okay.
Let's make it the heaviest, thickest beer we can find.
Well, it's gonna be winter, so it might be.
This beer, stout or porter.
This beer straight off the top, like I said, it smelled sweet. It is sweet. It is it's not overly sweet. It has that right amount of bitter that a German beer has. I think if you didn't know that this was a beer brewed in the United States, that you could probably pass it off as an actual German Helles Lager. I mean, this beer is super cold. It's delicious. I didn't pour it absolutely correctly, or I poured it and then you guys just kept on fucking talking.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I lost.
Would we do that?
But it's not like overly heavy. It's not overly filling. Again, it's robust. But it's sweet. It's got a lot of taste. I can't see myself drinking a ton of these. Yeah, I could. I love this beer.
How much do you love it? What do you rate it?
On a Mike
I like it a lot.
A numeric scale.
On the what?
On the numeric scale. It's the tension is
3.9.
Ah, damn it. Son of a bitch. Damn you, Dave.
Dialed in, baby. Dialed in.
2 weeks in a row, you guys got it.
2 weeks in a row. Yeah. Last week, our
Ricky nailed it
special
right on
guest
the
got it.
fucking
Ricky
head.
had it. Yeah.
Next
on
week's
ahead.
going to be my
2 weeks
week.
straight. You're due.
No.
You're due, Steve. Mike, we're dialing it in though, man. Do you see this? Like we are.
I guess
are-
3-8.
Yeah, I
So
like it.
close.
I like it. All right. How about a song?
I get
You gonna be like, tell us Hell's Bells because it's a Hell's Lager? Is that what you're gonna do? Or where you
no.
going?
I'm
Not
not
anymore.
Hells
Oh,
Not
no,
anymore.
no, no.
I'm not using that.
No. Matthew Wilder.
You mean Gene Wilder?
Nope, Matthew Wilder. Ain't nothing gonna break my stride.
Wow. I mean, a song I know and just an interesting upbeat little ditty.
Yeah, dude. Why not feel fucking good?
Yeah.
Those fucking
Feel Good
Gooners told
Inc.
us. The Gooners told us we're not allowed to celebrate. We're not allowed to celebrate, but
Who's
we
celebrating?
are allowed to celebrate, and we're allowed to celebrate because we went into their fucking disgusting, muddy, pig slop fucking swamp of a stadium, and
Yeah.
took a fucking point off of them when we were gonna get fucking pumped, and we didn't. We didn't get pumped.
Counterpoint, we gifted them a point.
In
I
fact,
like-
we did.
I like that narrative better.
They scored. They
we
scored
allowed
no
them to
goals
have a
from
point.
open play. They scored no goals from open play.
It's true.
You know,
Yep, I
and
like
it's
that.
just that stand
So
up of a guy. He
Saka,
doesn't
your
want to
little,
embarrass them.
that when you do that, that means bullseye. That means accuracy. In fact,
Yeah.
you didn't even shoot the ball. You fired in a cross that went off our fucking center backs, our opposite side center back's knee.
Word.
Shut
Word.
the fuck down, Saka.
All right.
You got
so
shut down by Tottenham Hotspur.
This has been, hey Mike, what you drinking? Helles Lager from Threes Brewing. What was it called again? What might have been?
Oh, what might have been?
Might have
Yeah.
been.
What might have been?
And
You know?
we got the rating dialed in, and we got a nice little upbeat, happy song. So Mike, well done.
Ain't
Appreciate
nothing
it.
gonna break my stride.
All right,
Yeah.
in respect for where we are time wise, boys, it is time for closing thoughts. Steve, over to you. How you gonna wrap us up, big man?
Yeah, I guess
Yeah,
I would just
yeah.
wrap us up by saying I'm just gonna lean into it. Why the fuck not? No, I'm excited for the game this weekend. I think it's gonna be very entertaining. You know, win, lose, or draw. I'm fully on board with everything that Ange does right now. You know, I maybe this is a question for our next podcast. You know, what does Ange need to do to lose my trust? Because right now it would take like an act of God for me to turn against him.
What if he kicked your cat?
If fucking Big Ange wants to come and kick my cat, he can kick my cat. I mean,
But not Kurt Zuma.
I don't condone it. You know, I don't like the animal abuse, but you know,
Would you let him
that-
kick your cat for a Premier League title?
Oh God, yeah.
I guess, yeah.
I'd let him take the cat. I'd let him take the cat for a ride in the car, drop it off in the fucking woods, and drive off.
Look, I love my cat.
Interesting.
I do,
Interesting.
but
That's what I would do for
I think
Premier
I
League
love
title.
Ange more.
I
You know,
love Ange.
I'm sure somebody out there's listening, like, oh, he loves Ange more than his cat. What a fucking weirdo. No, you're the weirdo. You're the weirdo for not liking Ange that much. You should be on your fucking knees for him. But yeah, anyway, so yeah, it would take an act of God for me to turn against him at this
Jesus
point.
Christ.
Steve, if you got a new cat, would you name him Big Ange? That'd be a pretty cool cat's
Big
name. wouldn't
Ange,
it?
yeah, I would.
I like it. I like it.
I'm fanboying really hard. Like Ange Postacoglu is to me what Taylor Swift is to teenage girls. It's an obsession.
So
I
like
you're
it. I like it.
saying that his fan club should be called Angie's.
The Angies. If Ange
Posties.
Postacoglu
Posties.
did karaoke at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, I would buy tickets to fly over there and watch it. That's how much I love Ange right now.
He might do that.
Wow.
He might do that if we win the league.
All right, here's final
When?
closing
When?
thought, and it's a question for you two because now it's on my mind, and I really need to know what you think.
You're not the host, Steve.
I like what you're doing here. This is a
Ange
nice little twist.
Postacoglu goes out for karaoke. What song is he singing?
Ain't nothing gonna break my stride.
Ooh, it's on the tip of my tongue. Give me a moment to think of it. What do you got? Is that what you're going with, Mike? With the
No,
song
no.
you chose? What are you going with?
I come from a land down under. Yeah.
A little too on the nose.
I
Why-
think I see Ange singing like an ABBA song. That's what I'm envisioning.
You think
No.
ABBA?
He's definitely
And singing
he's
ABBA.
definitely singing Men at Work, or he's
No,
singing
that's too spot on. He wouldn't be spot on like
Hell's
that.
Bells.
He's a subtle
Blank
guy.
Space, Taylor Swift. That's
Blank
what he's
Space.
singing.
Yeah, because blank space is where all of his fucking midfielders operate,
Oh, listen to that.
in the
Well
blank
done.
space.
Well done. Mikey, what are your closing thoughts, man? What do you got for us?
My closing thoughts are these, Dave. Why not us?
Great
Why not
thought.
us?
This has been Wicked Spursy.
I mean,
That's about it.
so you're looking at here, and I think I texted you guys this, but we have Liverpool coming up, right? A team that has not performed well in the first half all season long, right? And then we have Luton Town coming up, who is
Down.
Luton Town. And we're playing there. We're playing there. That's gonna be a fun watch, boys. So getting into October, we have Luton can win. Fulham can win. That's at
Yes.
home.
This has been schedule review with Michael.
Palace can win. That's away. Chelsea definitely going to win. Wolves going to win.
Steve,
Villa,
fast forward. May 27th, we
Win,
have
win,
Crystal
win,
Palace
win.
at home can win. This has been, hey, Mike, I'm sorry, Wicked Spursy. What else you got, Mike? Cut it
So,
out with the schedule.
my point is that through November, we could be top of the fucking table.
Yes,
So
we could.
why not us? Why not us? If we win,
Erling
if we
Haaland.
win and we beat Liverpool, which I think we can, if our midfield plays the way they've been playing and dominates the game, why not us? We can take 21 points going into December when things get thick and hot and heavy.
Title of Angel's sex tape.
Andrew's sex tape.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mike, I
Thick
think
and hot and heavy.
Mike, I think
Yeah.
the answer to that question is because it's still early. And I love the
Listen,
reason for the
you
question.
sound just like the
but-
pundits. I fucking
No.
Dave,
Because here's the
Dave,
thing.
drink the Kool-Aid.
here's
Drink
the
the
thing,
Kool-Aid.
Drink
Dave,
one
drink the
of
Kool-Aid.
us. One of
One
us.
of us. One
There's
of us.
there is room for optimistic pragmatism. There's room for it, right? And that's the space I occupy. We are.
I don't like it, Dave.
We're
I
a
don't like
joy
it.
to behold. We're a joy
Listen,
to behold right now. But let's
don't say but. Here's
let's not prematurely
Ooh.
ejaculate here, buddy. Like make it last. Like
Ange has
get through
allowed
this
us to
thing.
do this.
Has allowed us to do this.
He
No,
told
he's allowed
us
us.
it's okay. Did he not tell
All
us it's okay?
All right, when you come crying to me when we're on a little sour streak for a couple
I got
weeks
it.
in like January, I'll be like, I won't say I told you so. I'll just say I understand, Mikey. It's okay. It's all going to be all right at the end. Let's look.
Big Ange's karaoke song, Faith by George Michael.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Guess it would be nice, right?
Oh, yeah.
If I could touch Ange's body.
I know not everybody. It's got a body like Ange.
Yeah.
Hairy chest. He's got a hairy chest. You know he does.
Oh, absolutely.
He should
All
like
right.
he should not wear that suit again. He should just open up the shirt, like gold
When's the,
chains and fucking just
You know,
go
Mike and
with
I disagreed on this.
be
too.
all
Mike,
Greek. Be
Mike
all Greek.
liked the suit. He thought it was a decent call. I was like, Ange is not
Dude,
a suit
I like
guy.
you know what I really like about
Ange
it.
needs puffer jacket season. It's going to be good for him when like the really cold weather comes around.
needs
and
the
he's
We
able to
Fetterman
did
wear
talk
it.
about this. I
That's what he
like
needs.
the suit. The suit looked like very JC Penney on him though.
Right.
like he bought it and then like forgot to like steam it so that all the wrinkles and shit came out of it.
Right.
But the tie looked nice. Like the wide, I like the wide knot on the tie. I don't know how to do it. I can't fucking do it, but dude. Yeah, Ange needs to go back to his polo shirt, maybe.
Yeah. His
Or maybe
Ron,
he can do the
his Ron
polo
Swanson
shirt.
polo. That's what he wears every week.
He needs to do a polo and then like every like month, just unbutton one of the buttons and let us explore the next version, the next thing that's coming out of Ange's shirt. It could be a gold chain with a saint on it. Who knows?
I actually would love that if Ange like
He's got like 4 or 5 gold. He's got 4 or 5 gold chains.
Yeah,
like,
as a Greek guy, if he was all blinged out, like that'd be fabulous. I would love to see that on the sideline.
Yeah. Why not?
Like just drop like 3 buttons, open that thing up, and let it fly. That would be lovely. Yeah. All right. On that visual note, gentlemen, let's wrap this bad boy up. This has been Wicked Spursy. Listeners, we love and appreciate you, and gentlemen, I love and appreciate you both as well. If you were to say the last thing you could say before we go, Steve, what would it be?
Coins. Don't be an asshole.
Nice. And Mike, how about you?
Well, everyone, it's a crazy world out there. Things are going crazy right now. Spurs are drawing matches at the Emirates. Dogs and cats living together. All that shit. The thing is that we all need to be aware of our surroundings and just be safe out there.
And what else, Mike?
Tottenham Hotspur action. It's